But Simon is sick. Let's pray for his well-being. Thank you. Let's continue to the book review. Hello, speakers. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so let's get straight to the book review. Alright. First of all, I want to ask you the reason behind your decision to create this book.
Alright, so we have three main reasons why we decided to create this group. So nowadays, people are starting to think more about their mental health awareness, and right now they are starting to do a lot of job hoppings, as you know, because nowadays people are starting to not be committed to their own organization. So that's that's the main reason why we are creating this group.
Okay. Aside from that, in the book they were talking about transformational leadership. Can you please explain briefly about it?
Alright, so let me elaborate a little bit about transformational leadership style. So there is a leadership style which motivates, where leaders should motivate their employees to do a good job on their performance, and then they also need to encourage their employees' participation so that they can improve their working behavior and their attitudes at work.
I see. Okay. Next, there's also some topics about the Gen Z. Can you tell me the correlation between the book and also the Gen Z?
Alright, so as you know, nowadays the Gen Zs are, as you know that nowadays the Gen Zs are having this kind of job hopping tendencies. So it's really important that we need to teach the leaders how they can manage their employees, and then they need to be also care about the employees' mental health awareness. As you know nowadays, because the Gen Zs are starting to think more about their mental health issues, and they are thinking about their work-life balance rather than their commitment to the organization itself. So it's really important how this transformational leadership can help and shape the Gen Z's employees right now.
Thank you, sir. Can you explain more about the intellectual stimulation, idealization influence, and so on?
Alright, so maybe just a brief explanation. So these are the four elements of the transformational leadership. So the leaders need to have this intellectual stimulation so that they can teach their employees how to have the critical thinking, and then how they can be curious on their jobs. And the second one is, I think, is it individual consideration, is it? So the individual consideration is how the leaders can give a personalized attention to their employees. So by giving them the guidance on how to do their jobs, and giving a one-to-one mentoring session and training program. And the third one is idealized influence. So how the leaders can put a sense of dedication to their employees. So how they can make their employees dedicate to their jobs and not only doing a social job every day and the normal 9 to 5 daily jobs like that. And the last one is the inspirational motivation. So how the leaders can motivate their employees to always strive for the best. So I think that's the explanation for the elements of the transformational leadership itself. And I find it quite important. So how the leaders can motivate their employees to always strive for the best. And that's the explanation for how
Yes, we're much more aware of our mental health nowadays. Okay, so I was also wondering, sirs, what is the difference between a leader and also a boss?
Alright, so because right now maybe a lot of people are having a misconception about the difference between leaders and boss, so let me explain briefly. So leaders are a person who guides the employees from what they are doing. So for example, they are creating a campaign. The leaders will help them like create the beginning and then how they can continue to the end of the campaign itself. And the leaders will help the employees to be successful in their campaigns. But for boss, it's a little bit different. So a boss is a person who only gets mad at you. So, for example, if you are doing a bad job and your campaign doesn't success in the marketplace right now, so the boss will be angry with you guys. So that's the huge difference between leaders and boss.
I see. From your experience, sir, do you meet more leaders or bosses in your experience so far?
Alright, so for me, I met a lot of leaders right now because all of my managers and supervisors, they are all really good to me and they always teach me how to do stuff and they expect a lot from me, but I always, luckily, I always met their expectations. So I always met leaders, not boss.
That's great, sir. Okay, so Forrest, do you maybe want to add something?
Oh, about leaders and bosses?
Yes.
I've worked in different kinds of institutions. I work in education right here. I work in hospitality industry, telecommunication, and these industries have different perspective towards what a leader is. And of course, we work a lot with Gen Zs, millennials, and also baby boomers, and the way we lead is quite different. So I think I want to take what we have in the book, the theories, to a practical perspective that Gen Zs are, based on my personal experience, they are more open towards their feelings. They want to talk about their feelings. They want to know how companies can cater to their needs. There's a good side of that because, of course, working involves a lot of emotions. Of course, not only Gen Z needs to understand how baby boomers and millennials work, but it's the other way around as well. So if you are Gen Z, there's a tendency you want to be understood. There's also a challenge you need to understand as well how we work. Our generation, the Gen Z generation, millennials, we are products of generational trauma. Our parents live from difficult times, and then you come in a very a much more easier time, so information is accessible within your palms and you're connected. So in terms of performance, I think the book says there's no correlation between age about performance at the same level. So if you are in your Gen Zs, just because you are Gen Z doesn't mean you are better or worse than millennials. I mean, I learn a lot from Gen Zs. I do. I mean, in the classrooms, for example, I learn more from you than you learn from me because you're more tech savvy than we do sometimes.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, like I didn't know there was ChatGPT before you guys did, I learned more about the most efficient way to do tasks in the classroom. And yes, I think I learned more from Gen Zs as well. Yeah.
So basically, we learn from each other, right, sir?
Of course, I mean, both parties, both generations, leaders have to be able to communicate. What do you want? What can we deliver? Is it worth it to keep? If you're asking more than what the company or the organization can offer you, then it's not worth it. Yeah, that's why the tendency to job hopping happens because of the expectation gap between what the company can give and what you expect. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
No worries.
Okay, let's go next to the topic, employees' attitudes. Would you like to explain, sir?
Alright, so maybe I can just explain briefly about the employees' attitudes at work. Yeah, so the first one is we have this job performance. So this is the process of an employee reaching their objective or group of targets that has been set before, like for example the KPIs. And then after they succeed, they are going to get this employee appreciation day. But why people are doing this kind of stuff? Because they want to be appreciated by their employers right now. However, the fact is that nowadays a lot of companies doesn't provide this employee appreciation day. So a lot of employees are not doing well with their job performance because they are not being well appreciated. So that is basically the explanation about the job performance. The second one will be about the job involvement. So it is how an employees is going to be involved in their every kind of works. But if they are too much involved in their works itself, they are going to get a burnout. So, yeah. And the next one is organizational commitment. So, how an employees can have a sense of commitment to their organization. So, for example, you want to have an emotional connection with your company. So, for example, you are doing work not only 9 to 5, but you have this kind of emotional connections with the other employees and also with the employers. And yeah, that's basically this organizational commitment. So it's like your basic relationship with your company itself. So yeah, right now, and the last one is the self-efficacy. So it's how an employees can reflect on themselves, like this ability to control their motivation in doing works and how they can control their behavior in work itself. Alright, so I think that's basically the explanation about the employees' attitudes at work. So how they can improve themselves. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, I think a lot of Indonesian companies have a big, huge homework on work attitudes toward work. I'm not saying they're bad because a lot of these are basically loosely centered towards culture. In Asian culture, we are very power distant. So the distance between the higher rank of leaders and the lower ranks of leaders, there's a gap between that. I see here at i3L, we don't have that much of a gap. I mean, this gap is very approachable. Also, Ms. Beth is very approachable. I mean, there's some degree of respect. In our world, I've worked in the US when I can talk openly to my CEO and I call him by his first name. And we don't have cubicles. We have only meeting rooms, and meetings are limited to like 5 to 10 minutes. Otherwise, it could have been an email. If you read the book, factors influencing job performance includes the ability, of course, you need to be able to do what you do. So, for example, if you are Miss Hani, for example, for food technology, right? If you have to teach accounting, then she will not be happy. So her ability and expertise is not well captured for this mastery. Or me, if I teach food technology, I might end up eating more cookies than creating cookies, you know. So that's the thing. Knowledge and also experience, continuing to read the book, motivation, attitude, that's internal factors. External factors is work environment. Unfortunately it's not i3L, so I'm so sorry. But I have like a very fun working environment in the States. We have a bar next to our office, we call it a North Office. So it's colloquially called a North Office. And we do have a factory there where we can play around with our raw materials. So it's a physical work environment that helps us to enjoy the work. So if we don't have that here, we have a psychological work environment that stimulates, performance because we have good friends, we have Paswala here, we're very helpful. We have a lot of, you've been involved in the badminton club.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so it's so much fun. Yes, in Indonesia, the culture is collectivist, so we like to do it together. So how hard it is, how bitter it is, we can survive together. If you don't believe me, ask this back during the accreditation. It's bloodbath, but we survive and we get a very good result. So, and other factors, we can read in the book. How do you read the book? It's there for 65,000 rupiah. Of course, we need to sell the books. Or go to Amazon for $4 for relative 99 cents. Yeah, we'll provide the link in the YouTube videos.
Well, Mr. will promote it later on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Don't forget to read the book and buy the book, guys.
Yes, we only have one copy here, so
Yeah. Okay. Or you can borrow it from the library too.
not advisable, but yes, that works too.
about the mastery tendency because I think most of you have heard about this before. So it refers to a learning mindset in which someone concentrates on developing their competence and enhancing their skills. So instead of merely achieving just a particular outcome, they are always striving to do their best and they are always learning about something new. So that's basically what mastery tendency is. So for high mastery tendency, so people are always striving to do the best. But for low mastery tendency, just some lazy people who are not going to learn anything new, just doing their jobs repeatedly and that's all. So they are not going to learn something and not trying their best on doing their jobs itself.
I see. So for the mastery tendency, it's more like a black and white area with a spectrum written.
Yes, that's right.
I see. So Faris, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, if you have taken my management class, you will remember theory X and Y. High mastery, do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
What is it? Vaguely.
Other question.
This is like
You can ask me us questions. Not exactly fair. I'm asking you questions as well.
Okay, it's 2 years ago, sir.
So theory X is we assume that employees are diligent, smart, self-sufficient, and theory Y is we assume that employees are lazy, they need to be motivated, and that crafts our way to lead this kind of people. Our assumption towards theory X or theory Y will become the guideline of how we lead. If you feel, how many of your final year students or upper cohorts?
Only,
You are upper cohorts. Do you feel the way I teach in the classroom, in the first years, I'm more authoritative than in your final years? I'm more lenient because I'm using theory X during your first years because you're transitioning to college. So I think you guys are lazy, you are not motivated, I need to push you. And then towards the end of your courses, in the third or fourth year, starting second towards the third year, I'm more, open, more not lenient, but more open to ideas and questions and partnerships. So
I think it's like, I think it's an interesting question because back then when I was in semester 1, we cohort 2020 are in online classes.
yeah,
So we cannot feel like the full extent to which you're teaching in theory text. That's why I feel
Right.
like you're more maybe like lenient, a bit lenient at that time
Yeah.
because there was maybe online.
Yeah.
I'm not actually necessarily sure because I don't think you have ever taught us like in an offline class before.
Yeah.
But I did recognize that you became more at least lenient and more open.
more democratic. I would
Yeah,
say.
more
Yeah.
chill when you're doing like semester 4, especially when you're giving.
Yeah, that's intentional because of this.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like-
I want to help you to navigate through university life, which is completely different than high school life.
Oh, definitely. Thanks.
So I think that's how I define that. And in my company as well, I try to use the theory why, because a lot of the younger generations they thought they know everything because of the internet. Yeah. I mean, it's good to have access to information with this snap of finger, but it's also good to have some sort of experience. In business, 2 plus 2 is not always 4. It's up to the boss. Do you want 4? Do you want 6? Do you want 8? It's really up to you. There's always variables towards the theories. So I think that's all I have to say for this high and low mastery tendency in practice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So before we move on to the Q&A session,
Yeah.
we have a few questions for you, sir. Okay, so the first question is, how does the physical workplace impact employee mental health and productivity? Earlier, you mentioned a little bit of your experience in the US, right, sir? Maybe you can elaborate more the impact between the mental health and productivity.
Okay, before I answer that, if you have the book, it's on page 18. Yeah. Again, on Amazon for $4.99 or you can buy it here.
Yes.
You can have discounts today, no? Of
Sir,
course.
maybe you can sign it too.
Of course, yes. before I become a minister of education.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. Yeah. So the physical environment has a strong influence to performance and also satisfaction. So not only we need to be able to have a basic standard hygiene. If you look at this building, it's very clean. So there's no excuse. Oh, I'm not motivated to go to work because it looks like a slum. There's no way you can say that.
Yeah.
Of course, you have a decent facility. You have a decent desk, chairs. Trust me, I have worked in places with worse working conditions like this in the similar industry. So when I started my hotel companies, which was sponsored by the way, so hello, if you're watching, if some of my employees are watching online, we started very, very modestly. You know, we started very modestly. There's no Wi-Fi, no air conditioning, but we worked anyway. So I'm very thankful to my employees who wanted to grow with me, and it's important. Growing with a company is very important. You know, so you can expect something to be instant. So that's why we need to grow together with the employees. So I think that's what this book is really about, to grow together and how living with vision achieves you to the vision. Just like I said in Future, we have VMTS, vision, target, and strategy. So this book helps you to communicate and to navigate how we arrive at the vision, and strategy. I think that's all.
Okay, sir, you have anything to add, maybe? Yes.
Physical workplace.
So yeah, I think it's really important right now because when I was working at home before, yeah, it felt really bad because I didn't get to meet my colleagues and my friends out there.
Actually, it's very important.
So for example, like our students, they have friends here. Like during their classes, they have a lot of friends to discuss with. But for me, when I was working at my desk, my own desk, it was really bad for my mental health because
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, if you go to a physical office, it motivates you to as simple as you know. I gotta be honest with you guys, but I'm always excited on what to wear tomorrow. So the night before, I'm doing like, okay, I'm scrolling into my Instagram, going to my walk-in closet, and then okay, I want to wear this, I want to wear that, and that excites me.
or maybe
Meeting
what our
Or
lives will be.
inviting my classmates. It makes me
Exactly,
feel
right?
motivated to
Maybe you
study.
meet your crush. Yeah, it motivates you. I mean, employee motivation is not always about money. It's not always good campus, but also, I want to dress like this, and I want to be my friends. And you study not because you want to be smart, because you want to be perceived smart by your crush. It happens to you sometimes. Yeah, it happened to me.
Oh, okay. I see. Alright, let's move on to the next questions. Okay. What role does workplace culture play in influencing employee well-being?
Okay, so can you repeat once more?
What role does workplace culture play in influencing employee well-being?
All right, so because for me, I used to work at home before, so I think having my leaders directly mentor me is really important.
Much more efficient?
Yes, it's much more efficient, and then like having an offline meeting, I think we can share a lot more rather than having online meetings because during online meetings you don't know where you are. So for example, some of the employees might be at canteen or maybe they might be at somewhere else playing golf or playing tennis. We don't know that. But for offline meetings, I think people like you can see our face, so you can see for happy and for sad right now. So I think that's really important.
It makes us feel more connected to them.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
It's basically
Yeah, the true definition of well-being is very broad depending on one's personal definition of well-being. I don't know, maybe my definition of well-being is different from that of a very good example here. I that we do not work outside of working hours. I mean, not officially work. So that helps to have a work-life balance, especially parents or employees with other needs at home. It helps a lot. I know that companies expect you to work outside working hours, so that's very healthy and very thankful for that. So my definition of well-being is time. I need time for myself outside working hours. So if you text me at I know some of you are sending me emails at 11 at 9, once I read at 8 or 9 p.m., I'm not going to read that. I mean, that's my time for my family, but that's my definition of well-being. So I think this institution have a really good job, have done a really good job at keeping employees and also students well-being. We have the gym, we have food courts, and we have the basketball
We
courts.
also have a swimming pool.
We do have a swimming pool at the guest house, so that. I know some companies like Google, they have a lot of perks working for that, but also we can't offer you that, just the cost will basically, not cover everything. But yeah, your definition of work-life balance and corporate culture is very, they align with the well-being.
Do you think work-life balance is important, sir?
For me, extremely important.
Employees and user, of course.
Yeah, I've read some papers, some research that employee productivity goes up. For example, like this, employee productivity goes up not on Mondays, not like this. We are more productive towards the weekend. So starting on Wednesday, Thursday, and also Friday. So if you want to have an important meeting, don't do it on Monday, because they have, some of them have, still on the weekend, they still want to catch up with their friends on Monday. Hey, what did you do on the weekend? Oh, I still got things attached to my weekend. But when you go towards the weekend, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you are more motivated because you are almost there. So as a leader, you need to understand these cues. Understand your the employee emotions. So that's leader, not boss. If it was a boss, like, I want to meet on Monday. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're flying from Malaysia or whatever. I want you to be here at 8 a.m. So that's boss. Leaders are okay. We'll have a quick meeting on Monday and then we'll catch up on Thursday. So maybe that would be good.
I see. So, do you have anything to add?
Alright, so about work-life balance, I think it's really important because, like we having to work from 9 to 5 every day, I think, it won't increase our productivity itself, like what Pankaj has mentioned before, about, we are going to increase our productivity towards the end of the week. Yeah, that's right. For me, that really.
Yeah, also time of the day is very important. So the time of the day is also very important. The earliest meeting shouldn't start until 9 or 9:30 because 8 a.m. depending on what your starting hours. Let's say in this campus we don't have meetings, rarely have meetings starting at 8, maybe 8:30 because when we go in we drink coffee and whatnot. So and not too close to lunchtime.
That's when people are getting hungry.
Yeah, I know some of my class have 10:30 until like 1. So at like 11:30, you guys are already blank because there's nothing in your tummy.
But for my class, from 8 until 1:30, so they're really.
Well, in your case, you're always hungry, so it doesn't matter what time of the day. You're always hungry. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Thank you.
How can leaders and managers encourage a healthy work-life balance for their teams? So it's kind of related to the previous question.
So maybe just by sending text messages outside of working hours, I think it's already really good for us because we don't need to think about work anymore outside of working hours.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I was once a head of department here, so the way I keep my work and life balance is, especially with my colleagues that I want to be friends with my team members as well, also with my boss, also with my other colleagues. So if you're outside work, we don't talk about work. And of course, I read an article about how do we classify our friends. These are colleagues, these are friends. So you need to know these are your colleagues, these are your friends. We respect each other, and also we help each other. And we always understand that everyone has their own problems outside campus, outside work, so we want to appreciate that as well. So, for example, now he's sick. He's been sick for almost 3 weeks, and I have to do my PhD going back and forth to Solo. Almost 3 weeks now. I'm only half, maybe until Tuesday here and then Wednesday. And then here is Paleo, the newbie, but he's able to handle many of our tasks. So I'm actually a little bit threatened. Maybe he'll become my boss one day. He can know the jobs already. So that kind of leadership and teamwork, I really appreciate. And I think in my department, we show a very strong teamwork. We cover each other, and because we know there are some priorities. Like Leonardo is sick, of course he can't be here. Right? He needs to focus on his health. I want to graduate soon, so I need to focus on that. So this guy, not sick, perfectly healthy, not doing a PhD. So he's the victim of doing both of our jobs. So maybe give him a big round of applause for including organizing this. He's doing this from my department. He's doing this on his own with the help of the beautiful team members behind us in the station, the library officers, makeup artists, wardrobe, and everything else.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So, alright, should we move on to the next question, Mr. Lisa?
Sure.
Sure, of course.
Okay, how does open communication about mental health contribute to a positive workplace culture? So, Maris, do you want to answer first?
Oh, yeah. Mental health is health, just like your physical health is equally as important. Maybe not my generation, my parents' generation don't talk about mental health as much. So I can talk openly about my mental health. I have an anxiety problem. I get anxious whenever I'm a nervous flyer I'm very nervous when I'm flying. So I do a lot of meditations, I do a lot of healings. I mean, healing, you don't have to go to Bali or whatever, but you know what's the core problem with you, what you fear, and so on and so forth. So a lot of mental problem comes from within yourself, So the cure is within yourself. So what you fear, you need to overcome it. I got nervous when I'm presenting to my professors, just like you presenting to me. I'm dead nervous, my hands are very cold, I'm sweating like a pig. And then when they ask me questions, totally blank. I studied the night before, I prepared, but it's blank. So mental health issues is real, it's there. But then you don't feed them, you conquer them. You don't become the victim, you have to be bigger than the problem. Unless you need medications for that. Most of it do not need medications. Most of them just needs you to understand.
So it comes from us. So we need to understand it first and then conquer it.
Yes, you need to conquer it.
I see. Okay, Samuel?
Alright, for me, mental health is a really important issue right now. But I think it's from you again, as Morris has mentioned before. I think you can just finish the mental health issues yourself. Like you can always do it. Because for me, like working from 9 to 5, it's really tiring. And sometimes it also affects my mental health issues. I don't know why. Maybe sometimes I'm mentally unstable. Maybe I might get angry at class or stuff. But I'm trying to control that right now. But doing sports at night. So that's why. That's why I rarely reply to message at night because I'm busy doing my own work. So
That's sorry, you need to take care of yourself.
yeah, that's right. But no, I never get angry at the class. So
But
just to make sure,
just to release the anger.
yeah, maybe to JN back there.
So maybe we should start a meditation class.
Yeah, maybe.
It's easy to teach, just be silent. I earned credit for that.
Okay. Alright, so sir, do you have any tips on tricks for us to control our...
I think the stage manager has something to say. How long do we have? Q&A audience? Okay, Q&A audience.
Okay.
And you use the closing remarks maybe.
Alright,
Okay.
maybe for...
Do we have
the
questions
audience.
from the online
Online or
viewers?
offline?
Online or offline? Yash. We have Yash. Yash and then Miss
Sunny?
Hani.
Okay, I have around 6 questions.
Please stand up so we can see your beautiful face.
Okay. Can you please increase your voice volume?
Okay, hello, my name is Yash Ramasaputra. I'm from Bioentrepreneurship cohort 2020. I would like to ask my first question is that since you've talked about like collectivism and how we like to work together as a collective, I heard that like in America or in Western countries, they tend to be more individualistic before. But I wonder is right now in recent times, Western people in Western countries start to become collectivist or starts to adopt a more collectivist trait like what we do in the Eastern countries.
Okay, Yash, thank you for the good question. I think I'll answer directly before we move on to this next question. So yes, I think Geert Hofstede in 1983, the dimensions of culture, the cultural dimensions, says that many Asian countries are more collectivist. Not only at work, but also the way we live. So in Indonesia, we have the value gotong royong. So we go together, we help each other, we help neighbors, and so on and so forth. In the Western culture, it's more individualistic, especially in the way they live. You know, once I know some of my employees, not my employees, my coworkers when I work in the Western culture, during the break time, they don't even want to talk to you, and that's perfectly fine. So when during the break hours, they just play games on their desk or they're eating lunch, and when they talk to you, they say, "I'm off the clock." And that signals, I'm not talking to you, you're not my friend, I can talk after my working hours. And that's perfectly normal. In Asian culture, let's say if Miss Bell come to me and then, "Hey Fars, do you know this?" "Sorry, Miss Bell, I'm on my break." She'll be furious. I believe so. Because I will be furious too. That's our culture. So if I ask Leo during like the break and I ask something and he says, "Sorry, I'm on my break," I'll be like, "What's going wrong with this guy?" But yeah, in terms of work, collaboration is more open in Western culture. I think they now value what Asians value of the royal and working together. So we have more projects, collaborations, and they want to open to other culture because this cultural capital is also a leverage. How do we understand, especially for multinational companies, how do we understand from others' perspective, other culture? It's extremely important for a successful company. Alio, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, when I was working in Taiwan, we have the same culture before. So we did a lot of meetings and a lot of collaborations. And I think it's really important to know what your employees are thinking. So by hearing their what do you say, their concerns about the work itself and also the discussion. So I think it's really important having this collaboration thing. And by having that kind of collaboration, working culture, I think it's really important.
Maybe we can move on. Does that answer the question?
Yes, but I have just one question left. Is that
Can you please adapt that?
Oh, sorry. I have just one question left. It is that you said before how like it's great to not have like work from home and rather just work in the office because you can see the people, you can get to know your own co-workers and all that. But I know that there are some people, maybe from my perspective, it's mostly in Western countries, how they tend to prefer to work from home. Especially they look at, I feel like as though they think that it's quite very necessary and very important to do it to work from home, like work from home rather than work in the office because it would help or benefit with their mental health. Maybe because like some people have like mental disorders such as ADHD or have like social problems. But do you think that it is still necessary for like people to have like work from office, and we have to like push them or persuade them to go for a work from office, or do we just consider their thoughts and just let them be and make them prefer to work from home?
Okay, sorry, Leo. I have a very strong answer to this one.
Okay,
All
sorry.
right? My accounting professor, Dr. Martin J. Berger, he has a severe ADHD, and he is an excellent accounting teacher. Not the best in terms of human relationship, but in terms of accountancy, is one of the best in the industry. So just because you're in the spectrum anywhere doesn't mean that you have the excuse to not performing at work, online or offline. So online or offline is basically just time or space shifting. Regardless, you need to perform. So I've seen people with spectrum in whatever spectrum of ADHD or mental health issue is. We need to overcome, like I said earlier, overcome the mental health issues, conquer it, and how do you convert them into your strength? You know what's the opposite of motivation? Anybody know what's the opposite of motivation? The opposite. No. Jealousy. So if you are jealous with someone, for example, I'm jealous of Leo because he's skinny, he's sporty figure. If I'm jealous, I'll be like, oh, of course, he's skinny. No one needs to be done. But if I'm motivated, it's the same kind of jealousy. You convert that into positive jealousy. I'm motivated. Oh, so he's doing badminton, he's eating well. So here I am eating junk food, not having exercise. So let's change it. So the opposite of motivation is jealousy.
Do you have anything to add, maybe?
I think that's enough from surprise.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, well, there will be tantrums in class, but we can handle it.
Okay, thank you, yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Jess, for the wonderful question. Ms. Hani? Sure.
Hey, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Forgive my voice. So it's a very interesting, so to say, like an open for all of us. Okay, thank you for the summary of the living divisions. I actually have 3 questions, if it's okay with you. Okay,
Sure.
Okay.
$2 each.
Okay. So it's more expensive than your book then. Okay, so the first question is, the book says that leading efficient, right? Since we kind of have trouble having like different generations as a leaders and as subordinates, for example. So how do you have like to guide them into one visions? While, for example, during my period, it's a more transactional leadership. And then for your case, it's transformational leaderships. So how do you obtain one visions during these 2 types of leaderships? Okay, that's the first. The second one, you said that the subordinates of the employee need to be guided. Okay, maybe if it's like a campus like this, or if it's like a small company, it's still possible. But if you lead a big company where you have like 20, 30 subordinates, so it's a big challenge if you conduct like a personal, guidance, so to say. And then how do you mix that between personal guidance or micromanaging? So how do you separate that 2 issues? I think, yes, the third one is.
That's $4.
So another $2. Okay. So another $2 is among your 4 different transformational visions of that. So if you have to choose which among those 4 is that you want to make it prioritized for the leadership goals.
I think that's the same question.
The same question as the online one.
So only
yes.
$4.
Oh, okay. 4.5. So you have 50. The online
That's all.
is 50
Thank
cents.
you.
Okay, Valeria? The hardest one first, the last one.
Okay, so the first one is I'll answer the most prioritized transformational leadership elements first. Yeah. So for me, I think the most important one is the inspirational motivation. So by giving your employees a sense of motivation and how you can motivate them every day to come to work and how they can manage to obtain their KPIs and also that kind of stuff. I think that's really important for a company to grow better so that also having this employee growth so you can give them very good motivation. So I think by having the employees understand what the supervisors or the managers want, they can have a better understanding and they can have a more better vision in working, like better motivation and not just losing off at the company itself. So I think giving them motivation is really important rather than just giving them personal guidance or maybe just giving them an individualized attention. I think I'm more into a motivational person myself. Because by having this kind of motivation, I'm able to work better, to be honest, rather than just having this kind of individual consideration, like maybe Sir Faris, he gave me a lot of guidance. Yeah, I think it's also important, but
I hope I do.
yeah, it's really important for me. But by having them giving me a motivation every day, so yeah, I felt really important in this office. So yeah, I'm always improving my work ethics every
You
day.
give a sense of belonging.
Yes, that's right.
Stephanie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna jump to Ms. Hani's question about different size companies have different challenges to supervise and also vision. So I think start with vision first. I think in education institution we are familiar with accreditation and that's how we started with the vision. Vision is how do we get there and vision is how do we get there. So anyone remember what's the vision of i3L? To be globally connected and then blank. So it's global connected because I remember that global and connected. So that's the definition can be broken down into operational variables. So collaborations, partnerships, and so on and so forth. So we look at this accreditation, especially in my department. We have to reporting every year. So we are a lot easier to manage performance. Well, there's only three of us, so it's a lot easier. But in a larger company, in my telecommunication company, we do use Monday.com. Are you familiar with Monday.com? So no. So Monday.com is a platform where we can assign a task to the most appropriate person, and we give the time allocation, and we can monitor a person's productivity based on the task assigned to him or her. So Monday.com is a very efficient tool to manage. So we don't. It helps us to not judge people or judge someone's performance or measure someone's performance not by like or dislike or subjectivity, but by objectivity. Okay, this person finishes this job faster than expected. So using Monday.com is a very powerful tool for a larger organization, maybe more than 50 employees. It's starting to have the curve. So if less than 50, I think it's too expensive because we pay quite a lot of money for Monday.com, and they have tools and also how do we get this work done very easily using Monday.com. So yes, we can still micromanage, but in a way it's a measured micromanagement. I think, does that answer the question, Ms. Hani?
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Hani, for the questions.
Okay, so the online question is kind of related to what Ms. Hani earlier asked, but let me repeat once more. So The username of i3L asks us, from your opinion, which of the transformational leadership elements is the most useful to create a training program? So specifically for training programs.
Alright, so specifically for training programs, I think it's still the individual consideration because you need to consider every employees, like you need to understand what they want because every people have different needs. So I think that's the most important one. And yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, so Ryan, maybe you want to add?
Well, we have a cheat sheet here.
Okay.
For me, it really depends on what industry. You know, some industries are driven towards intellectual, like this institution. You are more exposed to education, training, seminars, conferences. While the others are more towards what's jump in English? Yeah, jump like maybe pilots or makeup artists, fashion designers. They don't go to like conferences and things like that. They have their skills. So it depends on the industry. Yeah, like in my industry, we do a lot of benchmarking to other hotels, telecommunication. We do a lot of trade shows. We go to fairs, pameran. Pameran is so we can see what other companies doing, and we can benchmark ourselves. They can sell it cheaper, they can sell it faster, they can sell it better, so we can always improve.
Anyone else want to
Do you have
ask?
questions?
Oh, okay, Grigor,
Okay.
please.
Thank you very much for the opportunities. My name is Iwan. I'm from Idea 2020, and I have 4 questions, but I think
That's $16.
Yeah.
If you 12.
but I think it can be
Narrow down to
compacted
maybe two,
to two. Yeah. So the first question is, you are telling about the job hopping at the very first of the talk. So, in your opinion, what are the reasons for employees to do job hopping? In company's perspective, it's a bad thing because every now and then we need to train working employees. But in employees' perspective, is it good to do a lot of job hopping? Maybe not like very fast, but maybe 2 years, every 2 years and so on. But then, related to this question, what are the reasons for employees to be loyal to their companies, even like towards emotionally connected to their employees? Because like some of the companies that I know, some of the employees are very loyal and not only transactional but are also emotionally connected. But most of them are because in the social business or the educational business. Is it because the industries they are in that they are loyal, or it is because the leadership style that they use? What's your opinion about that? The last question is, you say that in the first, you told us that low power distance is much better than high power distance in the company because you can talk directly to your boss and can be more as the book is transformational leadership. But from what I know, power distance is cultural factors and not really because of the company leadership. Is it because you need to why in Indonesia or in like high power distance countries it is still using their high power distance rather than low power distance? Is it because it is cultural, or is it because other things that it is? I don't know why. That's why maybe that's my question. If I have more time, I can ask the fourth question. Thank you very much.
Okay, which one do you want to answer first, sir? The first one? Okay.
So for me, I'll answer the job hopping question first.
Okay.
Yeah? So yeah, me myself, I like to job hopping because yeah, you know.
Don't say that in front of this guy.
Yeah. Because I like to learn new things, right? And yeah. Yeah, as you know, I have worked as a social media specialist before, and then as an SEO specialist before. So, and also as even as a founder before. So, I did a lot of job hoppings myself. But it's all for me because I like to learn new things. And yeah, after 2 years of doing my own job, and I find it really monotone. Yeah, so I decided to do this kind of job hoppings right now. And for the last one, I think I did move to i3L because, yeah, you know, like I want to learn how to talk in front, like do this public speaking, and then how to teach you guys a new lesson. Like what I've learned before, I want to share it to you guys. So that's why I did a lot of job hoppings, but it's all for my personal reason. That's it.
Do you think there are more reasons for job hopping, or is it maybe for
Yes, maybe some. Yeah, for me it's for personal development. But I heard that some of my friends they did a lot of job hoppings because of their supervisors and stuff. Yeah, a lot of them complain that maybe they don't have a good work-life balance, or maybe their supervisors are giving them jobs during midnight. So yeah, it's inappropriate for people to do that kind of work and to have that kind of work experience and environment.
Okay, so do you want to add anything?
Oh, I think Paolo had already explained a lot about that. I think I want to come to the second question about employee retention and also our distance. Employee retention have a lot about the company culture and also the motivation, performance, and also leadership style. I know some companies, some leaders that have this power when they move to other company, they tend to be followed by their employees as well. That happens in banking industries. I know in banking industries, especially in Indonesia, when the leader moves, the CEO or the manager moves, they tend to follow the previous employer. And also about career opportunities. You know, if your career in a company is stagnant, of course it's in the book. If your career in a company or in an institution is stagnant, for example, you're the receptionist for 22 years, then it can get so boring. But if you have rotations, promotions, and different roles in your company or in your institution, that helps you to avoid boredom. Yeah. So that helps to retain best talents, best employees in-house. Of course, about personal factors, maybe closeness to home. So you'll be surprised how many people work for a company because of the closeness to home or where they reside. Yeah, a lot of companies located in rural areas right now. So a lot of companies now move to Wednesday. Yeah. So people move to Wednesday, so they want to avoid Jakarta's traffic. They just move to Wednesday, problem solved. So there's a lot of factors, and it's not always financial issues. I know some institutions and companies they do gamification of their salaries and benefits packages. So for example, if you hit this sales, you'll be moved to the higher salary level. If you hit this milestone, you'll become this type of employee, and you'll receive this benefits. So gamification of salary and compensation package. The next question about why in Indonesia the power distance is still intact is because of culture, right? The root cause of this is because here seniority in terms of age and also rank is very much appreciated. Like it's impossible for me to call Miss Beth just, "Hey Beth." It's very impolite in Asian culture. Or if I, let's say, maybe Pasani, the vice rector. Maybe he's younger than me, but he has higher rank and he's So naturally, I will call him Pa to show respect. So power distance is not always about authoritative, but there is a sense of respect. A sense of respect. In America or in Western culture, you can call your professors by their names. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Here, maybe it's not. It's wrong. So power distance is rooted on culture. How do we perceive seniority in terms of age, rank, some cultures, wealth? If you wear Rolex watches, they will pay more respect to you. In fact, the ones with the Casio watches have less respect. So in Asian culture, that unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's 60. It has its benefits. So try to navigate through the power distance. In private companies like ours, it's much lenient, but if you go to like the OFM or the it's very thick. Like if you want to say something, and if you go to my campus, the OFS and so you have to say like, siap salah bro, something like that. So it's very attached to our culture.
Okay. Also, earlier we want to ask what makes a employee loyal to a company. Earlier you told us about promotions, rotations, and so on. Does that affect the loyalty of employees?
Yes, very much so. Again, I'm using my company as an example. I have companies, employees have been with the family for 30 plus years. Well, this is not showing off, but we have some set of milestones. If you have served the company for 5 years, you will get this. 10 years, you get this. 50 years, you will receive this. 20 years, you have this. So almost 80% of my employees are, almost 99% of my employees are Muslim, and 80% who have been working for 10 plus years have been to Mecca for pilgrimage as part of the benefits compensation package. So that motivates them, and then retains. If you ask my employee, how do you feel about when you touch the Holy Land? They will cry, oh, if we don't work for you, I want to cry actually, if we don't work for you, I wouldn't be able to touch the Holy Land. So that kind of motivation, it also motivates us to, earn better for the company, to invest more wisely so we can keep our promises.
I see. Thank you so much, sir. Does that answer your question, everyone?
I think that's
Okay, next we have a question from YouTube from Alaska. Yes. So sometimes leaders will be stuck with bad subordinates. What are some effective strategies leaders can use to solve this? Sir? Which one?
How bad is that? Because if it's terrible, I can just fire him or her.
Okay.
That's right. There's always an exit strategy to the bad apple.
Maybe they have some good part of the job, but there are some bad habits that they have. Maybe it's like 50-50. So yeah, good plan, yeah, bad plans also. There's also.
Okay, so when I was facing a bad subordinates before, I didn't get angry, but I just give him like a lesson, like a private lesson, like outside of work. So I gave him private mentoring, like you can do this, step by step, and suddenly he became better. So that's how I manage my bad subordinates before.
What if like the bad subordinates, they don't like criticism? What can you do? How do you solve this problem?
Maybe just, if they don't like criticism, then there's no place for doing my thing.
I see.
Yeah, well, that's why we have KPIs, performance indicators, so that this person is, okay, I don't care if you come here late, I don't care if you fight with your orders, workmates, but we need you to achieve this goal. And also it depends on how bad is bad, the definition of bad. It's a spectrum. For example, I have an employee of 20 plus year, we figure out that this person has been stealing company money. There are some payments that should have been variable, but we put it as a fixed cost. So the variance between the actual cost becomes this person's profit. So actually, I don't blame this person because actually it's our weakness in the internal control. So we, quote unquote, reward this person by, okay, how did you do that? How can we prevent this from happening from your side and from my side? So we end up in the weak side. But bad thing is not always bad if you can see it from a positive perspective, like what they say. But if it's terrible, then there's exit strategy. Fire this person. Yeah. Any other questions? Oh, Helen. Good morning. Thanks, Helen.
My question is, as vouchers, what do you think the challenges the leaders face when trying to apply a transformational leadership style in today's dynamic work environment? And in what ways can transformational leadership impact job satisfaction, motivations within the Gen Z for today's work? And can the transformational leadership principles discussed they apply across industries, or are they more suited to certain fields? Thank you so much.
Okay, we will respond to this question randomly. I think the third one is very interesting. How the leading with vision can be applied to companies? That's the third question, right? It also depends on what kind of company, what kind of industry you are in. Thank you, Ms. Kev, for joining us. Thank you, thank you, Ms. Honey. So it really depends on what kind of company, what kind of institution that you are working in. Institutions like education, like this, we are strictly controlled about the vision, where we want to go, where we need to be, that's strictly controlled. Companies, private companies, usually they don't have a very strong vision because the vision is the company's or the owner's mind, the owner's head. That's very frequently happening. So what we see on the board, vision, and what the owners have in mind is completely different. I also run a public company when we need to state our vision and mission clearly, and that's measured by our LPS, shareholders annual meeting, and also it's reflected in the annual report. So we need to report that. So you need to follow the vision if we have achieved that. The challenge is sometimes you as the leader, you understand the vision. You know the company is heading towards something, but how do you put it into operational work? That's challenging. Yeah. So we need a good communicator. We need a good interpreter of what the mission and vision is defined into operational level. So we want to become the world's leader in education. Yeah, but how do you say, let's say, to Aslama, the librarian, the world-leading university, how do we put that into the library's perspective? How about laboratorium? How about the academic operations? How about QA? How do we define this? Because every department has different definition, and that's the challenge. I hope that answers your third question. Any other question? What was your second question? In what ways? Gen Z?
Yeah, in what ways can transformational leadership impact the job satisfaction and motivations for the Gen Z?
Yeah, I think Gen Zs and other generations, they want to have a clear direction of what they do. I think leading with vision or the visionary leaders have a clear direction on where they are going. And that's beneficial to retention rate because we know exactly what we are doing. then we know the purpose why we are here. Because in the book it says there's purpose and also commitment. You're committed to what you do, so that retains employees as well in-house. And also satisfaction and rewarding, right? Acknowledgement, employee acknowledgement. So that's how we can keep employees, especially chances, that they want to be appreciated and understood.
Does that answer your question, Miss?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Claudia, do you have anything else to say? Okay.
Okay, any more questions? Okay.
Leslie?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Leo, Mr. Paris.
Morning.
Morning.
My question is, as a young person that has to stand on their own feet, lead a business or organization, do you think that having a role model, like a leader, do you think is important? Do you think that finding your own leadership style as you go is better? Like how did it go for, you?
Yeah, for me, I think having my own role model is more better than just go with the flow. Because, to bet I don't want to say this, but in my old company, they tend to change your contract by following the leader's mindset. So every time he has new ideas, he changes the contract. So that's not professional.
Following their mood, yes.
Yes, just by his mood. So for example, if he's in good mood, so the contract will be better. But if he's in bad mood, so the contract will be much more worse. And so that's why I have my own role model for that one. I think it's Steve Jobs. Yeah, he's my role model for a leader in industries. You know anything, Santos?
Yeah. What was your question again? It's here in my head, but I want to say it. How important it is to have a mentor, right?
No,
A role model. A role model.
it was in your opinion, do you think it's better to have a role model, or do you think it's better to just go as you?
Yeah. Okay. So I think when you grow, you're developing yourself. You need two persons in life: mentor and tutor. Tutors are like us, your lecturers, your teachers. We teach you the technicalities of the knowledge. You also need to have a mentor. Mentor can be anyone you can directly touch. Means your father, your grandfather, your neighbor, your boss, or someone else, or a fictional figure, or someone who is very far. Like you idolize Steve Jobs because of his leadership style, innovative thinking. I idolize Queen Elizabeth II. So because the Queen and I have the exact same personality trait, ISFJ, and I learn a lot from her. I read her books, autobiographies, and so on and so forth. How do I handle crisis? How do I do everything without conflicting? And the most important doing it is time. So that attracts me. So it's important to have mentors and tutors. Tutors not always role model, but can be someone you can look up to. So okay, when I grow up, I want to be like that person. It can be a political figure, can be a business person, can be your teacher, can be anyone. So you can quote unquote copy and paste their behavior and their achievements as well. And don't get me wrong, people who have been in that position will be so happy to regenerate. Oh, this is what I did. Let me connect you with this person. He or she can help you. So it also helps with your networking. Yeah. So networking is very important in this game.
So does that answer your question, yes? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Any more questions from the online or offline session?
Okay.
Okay.
I think time's up here, but everything you need to know will be in this book,
Yes.
which will be on Amazon for $4.99 and offline here.
Yes,
for
you can buy it right now.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think that's all, everyone. Thank you so much for our speakers and also others for making
Thank you
this
so much.
session. And thank you for the participants.
Thank you also for info, Sarisi, Miss Beth, Slamat, the librarians, Marco, Derek, Ray.
And I think we are going to take a picture together.
Good photos.
We're gonna have a group photo together with the participants.
Okay.
Please
Thank
come
you
to
so
the
much,
stage,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
And guys, please, after the picture, come back to your seats because we have something to announce. For the best questions, you guys will be getting a MAP voucher.